Here we are again. It's another Erev Yontif going into the wonderful Yontif of Succos. I hope everybody had an uplifting, meaningful Yom Kippur. It was definitely different. Some memories that will stay with me. Going to shul so early in the morning when it was dark, seeing people walking. There was a chill in the air. It didn't last, but everyone was dressed in white and davening Shabbos and seeing the sun start to rise and then coming back to shul in the heat in the late afternoon and beginning Ni'ila, and the sun was still in the sky, and then the words came off the page of the Machzor that the sun was setting and the day was ending, our last chance to cry out to Hashem. It was definitely something to remember. I'd like to share with you a thought about Succos, which I think is really relevant for this year. Every year we're always excited about Succos. We have the momentum of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and we have the simcha, the joy, feeling cleansed from sins. There's something to that, obviously. Everyone knows what I'm describing. And then we just have the simcha, family and meals and sukkah hopping and the davening, etc. Obviously, this year it's also affected because of the pandemic. But as we go into the sukkah, normally there's a novelty, which means that on one hand we enjoy it so much, especially if the weather cooperates, and we just want to spend as much time there. But there's this nagging feeling that, but I live inside. I have a house. I have rooms. I have locked doors. I have alarms. And even if Chazal tell us that the sukkah is where we have the protection, but I feel more protected inside. This year, I'm not sure we feel that way. Are we protected inside? They say it's not so safe to be inside with other people. It's safer outside. And even outside with masks, there's always a risk, chas v'shalom, and we see in the news that nobody is really protected with all of the layers of security and masks and doctors at one's beck and call. The virus can strike anyone, and we wish everybody a refuah shlema. We wish the Gadol Hador, Rav Chaim Kanievsky Shlita, he should be well. He tested positive. So it is a pachad. It's something that's very scary that we can't necessarily take this for granted, no matter how much preparation, how much caution we practice. Having said that, if there's nowhere to go, if we're exposed when we're inside, if we're exposed when we're outside, when we go into Ralph's, into stores, there's always an element of risk. So where do we feel safe? And that's really what the sukkah is. The sukkah is the tzila de mehemnusa, which means it's the protection, it's the shade, the shadow, if you will, of Hashem, our faith in Hashem. So the sukkah without the locks and with the open roof and having that vulnerability, that's really a paradox, because that vulnerability reminds us that ultimately nowhere is safe. And if we want to experience a sense of calm and serenity, we have to turn to Hashem. We daven to Hashem, and Hashem is watching over us. Ufros aleinu sukas shlomecha. We want Hashem to spread His canopy of peace, well-being, and that's what we need. So in a year where there is nowhere really to go, nowhere to escape to, and we turn to the sukkah for the mitzvah, we could perhaps appreciate the fact that this is really where we find our protection. So something to think about. Enjoy every moment in the sukkah. If it's too hot tomorrow, we place this in the newsletter, the Psak Halacha, that if you were under those same conditions inside, and it was 90 degrees inside, 95 degrees, and it was unbearable, and you would have to leave your home because the AC wasn't working, you can also go inside and finish your meal in better conditions. Hopefully it won't be that bad. I don't anticipate at night a problem, especially the first night of Sukkot. There's a mitzvah to eat in the sukkah, at least to have a kazayis, have a couple slices of challah in the sukkah. I don't think it'll be too hot. But tomorrow, we have to be careful. If it does feel oppressively hot, one can go inside. Either way, we should enjoy the sukkah, enjoy the family. We should remain vigilant. We have to remain safe. Let's daven for refuah shlema for all those who are ill. And let's hope that the sukkah is really just the harbinger, it's the reminder that eventually we'll make it to Hashem's sukkah with the coming of Mashiach. The building of the Beis Hamikdash will be in Yerushalayim, God willing, next year. B'mheira v'yameinu. Everyone should enjoy Yontif. Be well.